J.K. Rowling's whole thing these days is just attacking trans women every single day. And in her fervor, her passion to do that, she says some pretty wild stuff and advocates for some pretty illegal stuff. So here, she is responding to Mark Adam Harold, who asked her, how are you planning to police public toilets? Which is a great question. If you are constantly saying that we should be assessing who's allowed to be in these toilets, that faces some practical concerns. How do you actually do that? But that's not a serious question to J.K. Rowling. It's super simple, actually. Barely an inconvenience. J.K. Rowling says, quite easily, really, decent men will stay out as they always have. So we can assume all who don't are a threat, given their disregard for women's and girls' safety, privacy, and dignity. Photographing, reporting, and disseminating such men's images online will be a piece of cake. To which Mark Adam Harold responds, thank you for attempting to explain. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it your idea to encourage women to take photos of anyone they think looks like a man and spread those photos on the internet, accusing the person in the photo of being a pervert? That's a great question, because I don't know what else it could be that she's asserting you should do. It's a piece of cake to post these men's images online. And so the issue is, you have no idea when you see someone washing their hands in a toilet, whether it's a man or a woman. You certainly don't for sure. And it is a piece of cake to post someone's photo online. It also might be a felony to do that, but J.K. Rowling is not worried about you potentially owing a bunch of money or going to jail for doing this. She just wants you to do it. And by the way, the mistakes that I'm asserting hypothetically could happen if you encourage people to do this are not hypothetical. They have already happened. And so Lauren Boebert apparently reportedly told a cis woman in a Capitol women's restroom earlier this year, you shouldn't be here, before storming back into the restroom with her colleagues, only to realize the woman wasn't trans. Oops. Now, see, you could avoid that issue if you just minded your own goddamn business and let people pee in privacy. In March, Phoenix cops burst into a women's restroom to remove a butch lesbian, accusing her of being a man. That same month, a 6'4" cisgender female Walmart employee was followed into a women's restroom by a customer who verbally assaulted her because he thought that she was trans. In November 2022, a cisgender woman harassed another cis woman with short hair in the public restroom of the Rampart Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, because she thought she was transgender. So all of this is obviously going to happen because not everybody looks exactly like you think a cis woman should look. And the thing is, setting a precedent where you lead to a bunch of this harassment and threats and possible violence happening for whatever reason is stupid. But doing it because you say you care about women's safety and privacy is not just stupid, but deeply ironic at the same time. So J.K. Rowling either knows that this is going to happen and thinks, you can't make a transphobic omelet without breaking some eggs, or she's one of the dumbest people in the world to be advocating for something that goes so clearly against her stated goals. Elliot, I apologize for bringing you into this. We've been fighting this war against J.K. Rowling for what feels like a century at this point, but what do you make of this?
Dude, I think trans brain rot, it's so dangerous. And this is a prime example of it. I think she's got stage 4 trans brain rot, and that turns the entire world around you into, I assume, the most terrifying place in the world. There's also a parallel here of like the way it's okay to sort of snatch people out of their communities, even if some of them are occasionally US citizens. It's okay to just take photos of people in a bathroom without their knowing about it, if you just kind of feel weird about them. And also, when I was growing up, going into the women's bathroom was like an unsolvable mystery, like an ethereal netherworld, like going through like in Narnia or something. And now it's like you want to keep people out of bathrooms, right? To increase safety, ostensibly. But you're gonna just post photos of the inside of women's bathrooms all the time and just let all the mystery out? What are we doing? Well, don't do that. You keep it to yourself, and also stop harassing people. This is really not that complicated. And to do it with, the same way with Megyn Kelly, of just sort of this scaffolding of I'm actually looking out for the safety of. It's like shut up. No, you're not.
Yeah. 100%. And let me end. This is not I am not going to ask a rhetorical question. Longtime viewers of the show know that I now hate rhetorical questions that should not be rhetorical. This is a serious question, and this is to J.K. Rowling. And feel free to ask her this if you ever see her. Let's say, J.K. Rowling, that I were to see you go into a bathroom and I thought that you looked trans and I ran up on you, got in your face, was yelling at you, and I asked you to prove that you deserve to be in there. How would you do that? Practically, how would you do that? How would any woman do that? Now, I would normally ask, how would anyone do that? I know that you don't care about any woman, you care about yourself. So let's stick it just to you. How would you prove to me that you belong in there, that you're not secretly trans? That you could say, well, look at me. I look cis, whatever. Some trans people do. I know that bothers you, but some do. So how would you prove it? Do you have a card? Do you have something notarized that you can show me? How would you prove it? How would any person prove it, trans or cis, without dropping your pants? How would you prove it? And so what do you want the trans or cis people who will be the subject of harassment based on your online advocacy to do? Do you want them to have to let strangers see their genitals? Because if that's not what you want, there's no solution to that other than, again, minding your own goddamn business and going on about your life. This is again, it's not a rhetorical question. This is a deeply practical, pragmatic question. How do you solve that problem? And they don't have an answer for it.